Steve Austin being a part of Tough Enough, I think they kind of immediately jumped to making the announcement that he was going to be a part of the series. They didn't really allude to how long he was going to be a part of the series or how long he was going to remain with WWE. Tough Enough premieres, of course, the night after WrestleMania, so we're going to have to see how it fares. I'm interested in seeing, the type of competitors they bring in for the series. Original competitors they brought in for the series have gone on to hold the WWE Championship and be a major player in WWE. Original competitors we've seen in the past, of course, include John Morrison, The Miz, Daniel Puder, Josh Matthews, who is doing a phenomenal job as a backstage interviewer and commentator right now for WWE. We've seen, Josh Matthews be a huge part of WWE as it pertains to SmackDown, as it pertains to backstage work. He was a part of WWE's media correspondence for a number of years, and he was taken off television, and he did a phenomenal role with that. He was also a part of WWE.com for a number of years. He had a phenomenal role, of course, on WWE's former, webcast, Bite This, which allowed fans, to call in, partake in WWE programming, and ask wrestlers questions. Then he was brought back, as a part of SmackDown and Raw. So he went on to, achieve a phenomenal career with WWE. We didn't get to see much of him inside of the ring, like we did a John Morrison or a Daniel Puder or a Miz. We saw, of course, the Miz go on to capture the WWE Championship, which was absolutely phenomenal. But we didn't really get to see much of Josh Matthews or other competitors inside the ring. Maven, of course, the original winner of Tough Enough. So it's going to be interesting to see, how they bring in, new talent and how they adjust to the WWE's newest version of Tough Enough. This is going to be the first time, the inaugural time, as I alluded to previously in this week's audio commentary, that we've seen Stone Cold Steve Austin get into this role. It's definitely going to take time for him to get used to being a trainer on Tough Enough. It's going to be different for a lot of fans to see him in this role, because immediately what the fans are going to think is, okay, Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to make an in-ring return. If he's able to, coach wrestlers on Tough Enough, if he's able to, be a bit tough on the wrestlers inside of the ring, this must mean Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to make an in-ring return. But I assure you, the only reason Stone Cold Steve Austin is back is because he's under a Legends contract. He's done virtually everything there is to do as it pertains to be a part of the business. He's held the WWE Championship X amount of times. He's been, the Intercontinental Champion. He's been King of the Ring. He's won the Royal Rumble more times than anybody. He's virtually done everything there is to do. He's accepted his Hall of Fame induction several years ago, so I really don't see, Stone Cold Steve Austin making a return to Raw or SmackDown. If he's on Raw or SmackDown, the only reason he's going to be on there is to promote the return of Tough Enough for the first time in nearly 10 years. I don't see him, mixing it up with wrestlers like The Miz. I don't see him mixing him up with wrestlers like Edge or Dolph Ziggler. I really don't see him, doing anything on the side with Santino Marella and Kozlov or anybody like that. If he's going to be on Raw or SmackDown, it's only going to be to promote the return of, Tough Enough to USA Network. This is going to be the first time Tough Enough's been on USA Network, so definitely they're going to need to acquire a significant amount of star power. It's going to be interesting to see who they bring in other than Stone Cold Steve Austin to help the series. In past years, we've seen wrestlers make guest appearances on Tough Enough, like Triple H, and other wrestlers had been on Tough Enough, like Mark Henry as well was one guy I remember seeing on the original series of Tough Enough, the original version of Tough Enough on MTV. Tough Enough wasn't really around long enough for the fans to really adjust and get used to it. And like I said, many times in this audio commentary, I wonder how long it's going to take Stone Cold Steve Austin to get used to being a trainer on Tough Enough, because he's never been a trainer on Tough Enough. He was used, as in the Austin McMahon era. He was used in storylines with Eric Bischoff. He was used in storylines for a number of years with The Rock and big names in WWE. We've never seen him used as a trainer. We've seen him used as a manager and as a general manager on Raw. We've seen him in storylines on SmackDown, storylines with JBL, when he took a significant amount of time out of the ring after he retired and had his final match at WrestleMania 19 with The Rock. So, we're going to see Stone Cold Steve Austin used on Tough Enough for a number of months. How long he's going to be used, where he's under Legends contract, is in question. His health status is definitely in question as well, because, we see him jump off buildings and used in action roles for movies like The Condemned and The Expendables most recently, which was a phenomenal movie. I have to give The Expendables credit where credit is due. I had the chance to see it, as well as The Condemned. And definitely we're seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin used in all these action movies. So his health status is definitely up in the air. But I really don't see him, making an in-ring return simply because it's not needed. Definitely WWE is in a lack of star power right now. They're definitely at a low point when it comes to star power being used on television. So Stone Cold Steve Austin making a return to a Raw or a SmackDown right now would definitely help the ratings. But definitely I see the ratings going through the roof for Tough Enough making its return on USA Network, simply because Tough Enough really has not been on an established network for a significant amount of time other than MTV. MTV also acquired WWE's Sunday Night Heat for a short amount of time before Heat was terminated off television and moved to the internet. Something else you have to ask yourself is, how long will WWE's Tough Enough be on television? We've seen NXT brought back to Sci-Fi, but with Sci-Fi picking up SmackDown and everything, NXT was terminated off of television and brought to the internet. So the same thing can be put up in the air as it pertains to something like WWE's Tough Enough being moved to the internet. NXT was on television for a number of months before it was moved to the internet, so we could see the same thing happen with NXT and with Tough Enough. Tough Enough could be brought back to the internet, but only time will tell. But I assure you, I really don't see Stone Cold Steve Austin making a return as it pertains to a Raw or SmackDown right now. I see him remaining off of WWE television in terms of storylines right now to help the Tough Enough product. But like I said, only time will tell. Stone Cold Steve Austin right now is only under Legends contract. He may be at WrestleMania to promote the fact that he's going to be on Tough Enough. He may be at WrestleMania to promote the fact that he's back for the first time in years. But, to answer your question, to him making a return to Raw and SmackDown and to WWE permanently, and making an in-ring return for the first time since 2003 when he was used at WrestleMania 19, I really don't see it happening because it's simply not needed. Stone Cold Steve Austin definitely will help the ratings for Tough Enough. He will help the ratings for USA Network, just as the guest hosts did when they were a part of Raw. USA Network definitely hyped that a lot, so they're definitely going to be hyping Tough Enough making its return to television for the first time in years, and Stone Cold Steve Austin being a part of the show will definitely help it. But I really don't see him, making an in-ring return simply because, his knee has been giving him trouble for a number of years. The movie industry definitely doesn't take a significant amount of toll on your body and your mind like professional wrestling does. So I definitely see, Stone Cold Steve Austin remaining out of the ring for a number of years and helping the Tough Enough product. So definitely, the situation with Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back the night after WrestleMania for the Tough Enough series remains in question and up in the air. But it's going to be interesting to see, simply because this is the first time that WWE have used Stone Cold Steve Austin for reality television. We've seen Al Snow, we've seen Bill DeMott retire from being used in the ring to help people like Maven, John Morrison, Josh Matthews, The Miz, and others, go on to become prosperous WWE superstars both in and outside of the ring. So it's going to be interesting to see how Stone Cold Steve Austin will do the same. Without a doubt, Stone Cold Steve Austin will do it differently than Al Snow and Bill DeMott have done, without question, because definitely Stone Cold Steve Austin has a rougher edge when it comes to being a part of WWE storylines and creative process, more so than an Al Snow and Bill DeMott have done. Al Snow was more of a teacher than he was, a rougher type of trainer than Stone Cold Steve Austin will be. I highly doubt we'll see Stone Cold Steve Austin be somewhat of a trainer and a lightweight trainer than Al Snow or Bill DeMott have done. Bill DeMott and Al Snow were there for nothing more than tutelage. When I had Al Snow here on the program and Bill DeMott, both of them, talked about how proud they were of the rookies on Tough Enough and how proud they were to be trainers and used for the reality series, WWE's first stab and first attempt at reality television. So definitely they were very proud to be a part of the program. I highly doubt Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be very proud to be a part of Tough Enough. This is going to be the inaugural time that we've seen Stone Cold Steve Austin used on WWE programming as it pertains to Tough Enough. I definitely think he's going to have a different approach, more so than Al Snow and Bill DeMott, and he's definitely going to set the